the CFO of Uber came out on X saying that he got a preview of Rivian's Autonomy Plus capabilities, and it drove, his words, not mine, flawlessly to Sunnyvale, to Cupertino, and back, which I'm not that familiar with California. So I was like, oh, that sounds like a far drive. Turns out it's a 10-minute drive one way. So about a 20-minute drive altogether. Um, what are your thoughts here? We haven't really heard too much about Autonomy Plus, but it is supposed to be released somewhat soon to users. So, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
RJ has reiterated that they continue to expect their point-to-point, meaning like following the maps and directions where it'll stop for red lights and so on, point-to-point capabilities by the end of this year on their vehicles, and that was reiterated on their earnings call, which happened a couple of weeks ago. So this is just pointing in the same direction. That is like, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like you said, that particular drive is just a 10-minute drive. So, and it happens to be near Rivian's offices. So the fact that they have, that they drive, the car drives flawlessly near their offices is not necessarily this incredible feat. But
Right.
assuming that is using a general purpose driving algorithm that is able to drive anywhere in the country, that is definitely pointing in the right direction. And we already know that Rivian's sensor suite, meaning their cameras and computing power, is easily better than the hardware 4 of Tesla's. What is not better is their software. So the fact that their software might be able to do, point to point at some point at the end of this year at levels that maybe Tesla was able to do a couple of years ago is very easy to accept. It's not like, far-fetched that like, no, that would be impossible for them to be able to accomplish. So I'm cautiously optimistic that they're going to hit that target. I don't expect it to be as good as FSD or from Tesla, but I do expect it to be as good as FSD was a couple of years ago. So you're probably going to have to monitor it pretty closely and take over in a bunch of different situations. And I see that as goodness and the right steps in the right direction.
Yeah, I view it very similar to the AI race. Not that necessarily anyone's going to leapfrog Tesla, but that after OpenAI kind of showed what they could do, all of a sudden, all these other AIs started popping up,
Mhm.
right? Like Google was able to create a
That's right.
product relatively quickly. Anthropic has Claude. Meta now has Muse Spark. So it should be more and more doable to have autonomous capabilities as
By
time
other
kind of goes
companies.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, while of course you're going to compare Rivian to the number one player, what we really should be doing and what's even more important is to compare them to everyone else. Because
That's
that's
right.
right. Most people are buying every other car. Tesla's
That's
obviously
right.
super successful, but most people are not buying Teslas. Most people are buying every other car. So
That's right.
if Rivian can beat every other car manufacturer to autonomy and their autonomous capabilities outside of Tesla, I think that's a win.
That's a huge win. I mean, like if you believe that the future is EVs, and then right now in the US at least, there's only two choices of that future is like Tesla uh, or Rivian, and then if other vehicle manufacturers also have EV options, but they can't self-drive as capable as Rivians and Teslas, then your choices just become those two basically. So absolutely, I think that is a very good thing for Rivian. Uh, and yeah, I think I think from a value perspective, it's kind of hard to match Rivian's value.
Hamid, what's your take on Rivian's progress with R2 production thus far? Do you think they are on track to beat the numbers they guided for? And then this person had a question about any thoughts on some Rivian related X accounts reporting recent issues with their R2, only a few weeks of use. Still dealing with unreliability issues. Not a great look, to be honest.
Yeah, so I'll answer that second question, and then we'll go back to the R2 counts. But basically, with any new product, you're going to have some kind of issues that are prevalent in all new products. That's just that has happened with the Tesla Model 3. It happened again with the Tesla Model Y. It happened with the Cybertruck. I mean, like, people basically report these issues, and the much more important aspect of it is the manufacturer addressing the issues, or are they trying to pretend like they don't exist to the customer? And as long as the manufacturer is taking responsibility and fixing issues, these are, just growing pains, and they're supernatural, especially for a new product. So that doesn't concern me very much at all. And by the way, like, the vast majority of reviews of R2 owners, if you look online, is extremely positive, and people are just having an amazing experience with it. So that is the majority of experience, but of course, you would expect some people to not have the most perfect experience, because it's a new process, new manufacturing. On the quantities delivered, we don't have much visibility on that, so there's no way for me to doubt, or there's no reason for me to doubt Rivian's numbers. But one of the things that has been reported online is that people are starting to track the VIN numbers that are coming out, and they've speculated that there's over 8,000 VIN numbers assigned now to R2 purchasers. And 8,000 seems like a reasonable number for the first full quarter of production. I think I don't think that that's bad. I think that's definitely going in the right direction, especially if they are able to deliver somewhere close to 10,000 of them this quarter. That would be pretty good. So,
And in addition to that, they, correct me if I'm wrong, they extended the availability of their launch edition model or trim, right? So there, which I would assume means there's a lot of interest in that higher end model, and that probably user or customer interest is not the bottleneck. It's just what they could output from the factory. So
right, right.
as long as the factory can keep up with demand, I think my expectation is they'll meet or exceed. If there's a factory issue, which, look, depending on these reliability issues, going back to the other question, and they need to maybe have some downtime at the factories to resolve those, maybe it offsets and it's a wash. But there seems to be a lot of customer interest, and it's just going to be if they can deliver, pun intended.
And they're about to bring on their second shift before the end of this quarter. So that is another exciting aspect of it as well. If you enjoyed this clip, consider subscribing to the Buy Hold Rant podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. New episodes are released every Wednesday, and you can watch them live on YouTube.